Birthdays. They're supposed to be pretty magical events, especially when you're a kid. You're surrounded by all your favorite friends and your family. You're being worshipped. You're getting gifts. You're being showered with them in some cases. Gifts that you didn't even think that you'd be getting. You're actually getting. Just shows that these people genuinely care about you in ways that you didn't think. And it's supposed to be a magical time for a lot of kids. Your birthday is such an important event when you are growing up. It's more than likely every kid's favorite holiday besides Christmas. If not, those are the two constantly rivaling holidays, competing for first place. But imagine if you fell victim to a bricking scam as a kid on your birthday. Um, I'm sure a lot of you know what bricking scams are. It's not a new scam by any means necessary. It's been around for quite a long time. Bricking scams have existed probably since retail stores have. If not, maybe maybe before the time of retail stores as well, when they still had the barter system. We can't go back that far and verify it, but probably since they had official retail stores, it's been a thing. In modern times, it's only gotten worse because of how easy it is in some cases to fool automated systems like this. But a lot of the times, people necessarily just see the store's issue with it and the store's outcome, the what kind of consequence it has on the storefront. They never necessarily see how it can affect the consumer side, the actual person who may end up buying that item, if it's never properly corrected in the store system. And this is kind of one of those incidents where we get to see what exactly happens when somebody falls victim to one of these bricking scams that they had nothing to do with. Absolutely nothing to do with. This is 100% on the fault of the store. And the store couldn't take care of it either, because of course there's always going to be ways to bypass automated systems and weigh measurement systems like that, things that detail on having a specific weight measurement be recorded, and not actually being able to verify what the content is inside of the box that you're supposedly buying, or the pack that you're supposedly buying, whatever it is. But point being, there's always going to be a way to get around these until stores start 100% verifying, yeah, this is the item inside the box right before it goes out, and once it's there as well. Like, and of course that goes into a line of just, you don't want to have to do that for every package. So it's just, there's always going to be a thing where these types of scams can get through the storefronts system, but nobody ever really expects or considers what happens on the consumer's perspective. And that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today. There was a video that came across my TikTok For You page where probably an 11 or 12-year-old kid at most was opening up an iBuyPower pre-built PC that he got for his birthday. His parents bought him it. He was looking really forward to getting a PC for his birthday. His parents bought him an iBuyPower. I think the first problem there was buying iBuyPower, not buying something like King Tech, like I had, or SkyTech, or even if you want to go into the pricey range, I would say Starforge. Honestly, if you're looking for pre-built PCs, I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but Starforge has some very good pre-builts. I don't know why they would buy iBuyPower, but that's besides the point. They bought this kid an iBuyPower off of the Walmart store, and on his birthday, they're recording their son opening up his PC box. Come to find out, there's no PC in the box at all.
What kind of sea is it? Razor. It doesn't drive. Game computer. Let's go!
You said it felt too heavy to be a PC, but I was like, it's probably just bottom heavy. Yep, they literally just shoved weights in it. No way.
And an empty keyboard box.
Yep, all the boxes that were there.
I mean, we will get it fixed, but. No, it's not.
Yeah, cut the tape. Open it up.
We're going to Walmart.
Now, as you can see in that video, obviously the kid opens up the box expecting a PC to be inside of it. Much to his surprise, there's no PC in the box. It's nothing more than a bunch of 15-pound weights. And the dad kind of calls it. He even said he thought it was a little suspicious of how heavy it was, but he thought it was just bottom weight. And then quite literally, it is just a bunch of weights sitting at the bottom of the box. Like, it's, you can't make this shit up. And unfortunately, on this kid's birthday, out of all days, this has to happen to him. It's very unfortunate circumstances that did take place. Good news though, from what I understand, the owner of the post did end up commenting later. I assume after the post went up, they got in contact with a local Walmart. They told them what happened because this purchase, I guess, was made through an online Walmart portal. It wasn't actually purchased at a store. So they had to explain to the store what had happened, and the store had comped them for their mistake. You know, they had gotten them a PC, and I'm not sure if they got them their money back necessarily or not, but at least the kid got the PC, which was good. But not everybody has that good of a happy ending, I will say. This is somewhat of a common scam in the modern day marketplace. A lot of people fall victim to it without getting this silver lining to their ending. You know, a lot of people just lose out on 500, $600, you know, even $1,000 or more dollars, and they also get no product because they have nobody that they can actually take a course of action to or take any recourse to. It was just fortunate that Walmart is such a large retailer and they have physical locations that cater so much product on a daily basis that this Walmart was able and more than willing to, you know, get this issue corrected, because quite honestly, if they didn't, it would have been a huge PR nightmare. Let's not play dumb on that. But I mean, as far as that goes, there are plenty of smaller online based companies that just do drop ship based stuff that people don't have direct access to get in have any reconciliation with. Like, customer service online for a lot of customers genuinely does suck, and sometimes it's not even a thing for companies. You know, they just don't have a direct line for customers to be able to express their frustration or to express an issue that they have with receiving the product or the product itself. And that escalates, or that segues into something else that I want to talk about: how common and how common of a problem this actually is. I was researching this because I got kind of curious in how big the bricking scam is in the modern marketplace, because things like CPU components and PC hardware, not very cheap in today's economy. You know, if you have a functioning frontal lobe, you know that RAM prices are skyrocketing right now. And so I was just curious if this may be affecting the individual markets, you know, as far as like just specific PC parts or specific console parts or things like that. And it genuinely has taken such a large toll on consumer markets for like GPUs and fans and power supplies and things like that. It is genuinely insane how deceptive this practice has become, and how commonplace it is now, unfortunately. You know, and there are kind of crazy backwards ways that people are getting through that you would never really think would be ways that they could get through in doing these scams. And that's kind of what I want to showcase next.
If you're about to buy a new graphics card, please do not fall for this scam.
This is a new one and almost impossible to notice.
We've seen a bunch of different CPU and GPU scams lately, even on trusted places like Amazon and Newegg. And most of the time it involves using fake weights or swapping out the components with something worse. But now, these fraudsters are getting a little bit more sophisticated. Look, here's 6 GPUs that were recently purchased and they all look pretty normal. But underneath the hood, they're all missing something very important.
The actual GPU on the GPU.
The GPU die is essentially the brains of the graphics card, and this is basically what gives you the performance. Without it, your GPU is not running.
So watch out and only buy GPUs from people you trust.
So yeah, as you can see right there, it's a very common scam that has taken the GPU marketplace by storm, unfortunately. I don't know how much more common it is in other PC part marketplaces necessarily, or even more consumer electronic individual markets and whatnot. But I mean, the GPU space is a very important marketplace for just individual PC consumers. Like you really can't have a PC, you can't function. Okay, so if you don't know what a GPU is, a GPU is kind of like the left half of the brain for the computer. You need the CPU and the GPU, and you know, and that's your brain for your computer. The RAM is kind of like your nerves necessarily, or kind of, I guess, kind of like the electricity that flows through your body that is sent by your brain, you know, that helps you do stuff. I don't know how you would necessarily consider RAM, but your GPU and your CPU are very important components, all right? You need those in order for your PC to operate. It can't do the basic equations without the GPU and the CPU. And if you buy a GPU with no actual hardware in it, that's a big problem for your computer, all right? And like I said, these are, or like the video said, these are large companies where these scams are taking place on, like Amazon and Newegg. If these companies are falling susceptible to it, don't even talk about these third-party platforms where they don't have direct customer service lines or any real accessibility or any real way to get any sort of reconciliation made. Like it may just well be considered impossible at that point if this happens to you on one of those sites. Like it is genuinely so sad to hear about this. And you know, I just thought I would talk about it because it's a scam I didn't know that was as common as it is, and it's probably just going to get even more common the more expensive PC parts get. You know, PC parts are not getting cheaper by any means necessary. They are actively making them more expensive by cutting production rates. So this scam is just more than likely going to take place more because PC parts are going to get more expensive. That way, it'll be more of an incentive for the scammer to scam people. So unfortunately, I just don't see this problem going away anytime soon. But just wanted to yap about it, make people aware of it. That being said, if you do buy stuff, you know, just make sure you're buying it from a completely verified source, trusted source. You know, I know you can do all your due diligence and all your work and whatnot, and shit can still go down, and unfortunately that just happens. But at least you know that you did everything that you could have possibly done. So all that pressure's off of you. Now it's strictly onto whatever website that you were using. And that's another thing. Please do not buy from unregistered third-party sources as far as this stuff, unless it is like your last resort. If you can get it on an official website, just spend a couple extra dollars. I know it may be more expensive on Walmart than it may be on this third-party Chinese website, but there's a good chance that it will never come to you if you buy it from the third-party Chinese website. There's a chance that it may not come from Walmart either, as we saw, but at least Walmart has a better course of reconciliation for if that does happen to you than this off-brand third-party Chinese website that you just bought this GPU from. So just make smart decisions, man. That's all I'm saying.